In today's solo episode on the Black Woman Leading Podcast, we are talking about auditing your leadership identity. If you are still performing a version of yourself you built to survive, long after the space that required her has changed, if you cannot always tell the difference between who you truly are and who you have just gotten used to being, and if you are ready to look honestly at the identity you are carrying and decide on purpose what to keep and what to release, then you need to keep listening. Let's get into it. This podcast amplifies the needs and experiences of Black women leaders in the workplace with a holistic focus on three core areas: leadership development, mental wellness, and relationship management. Our ultimate aim is to help Black women learn, heal, and grow in their leadership capacity. Black woman leading. Before we jump into this episode, I wanted to let you know that registration is now open for the August 2026 cohorts of both our early career and mid-career leadership development programs. No matter where you are on your career journey, our programs are designed to support your holistic development, wellness, and career growth. Now, our mid-career program is designed for mid and senior level leaders, and it focuses on building strategic leadership skills and developing a customized career strategy in this phase of your career. Our early career program is a training program that's designed to strengthen the foundational leadership competencies needed to grow and to step into leadership. Now, of course, both programs will center your mental wellness and self-care and also provide a culturally relevant lens for you to do your personal and professional development work. The amazing thing about the transformative experience you have while in Black Woman Leading programs is that it's not over after you finish your program. We are invested in a long-term relationship with you. So upon completing our core programs, you become a part of our alumni community, and we host ongoing events throughout the year. With us, you are not just completing another professional development program. You are joining a community of support that's there with you for the long run. If you want to explore how to register for one of our programs, visit our website at www.blackwomanleading.com to get all the details. There you can review our programs, sign up for an info session, or schedule a one-on-one call with a member of our team. We'd love to welcome you to the Black Woman Leading community, and we love to support you in this season of your career. Hey, welcome back to the Black Woman Leading Podcast. Today's episode is a solo episode, just you and me. And I want to start us off with a question that sounds simple, but is anything but. Who are you being as a leader right now? Not who you were trained to be, not who you perform being in the meeting, but right now, underneath all of it, what is actually leading? This season, we are talking about relationships, cultivating them, nurturing them, tending to the ones that matter, and being honest about the ones that need to change. We're going to spend time on all of them, the relationships with your team, your community, your people, but I want to begin with the relationship that every other one depends on, and that is the relationship with yourself. Because here's the truth. You cannot nurture a relationship with a version of yourself you are only performing. So today we are doing an audit, a leadership identity audit. I want you to get a pen and notebook because I'm going to walk you through a guided reflection. We're going to spend time with 3 powerful questions in this episode. And I want you to give yourself this time to pause and sit with this. It will be a critical inflection point in how you navigate forward for your next steps. But let me tell you what I mean by audit, because it may not mean what you think. When most of us hear leadership identity, we think about vision. We think about who we want to become. I have done whole episodes on that, on setting your vision, leading from within, defining your why. That work is real and I love it. And it is foundational to leading effectively. But that work is about construction. It's about building forward. An audit is different. An audit is not about who you are becoming. An audit is about who you already are right now, today. It is a present tense look at the identity you are already carrying and already performing, whether you chose it on purpose or not. And that last part is the part I want you to sit with, whether you chose it or not. Because most of us never sat down and consciously designed our leadership identity. We absorbed it, we inherited, we may have copied off of something we saw that was inspirational or effective in another person. We built it in real time. And sometimes that was in rooms that was not always safe for us, in seasons where we had to be a certain way just to be respected, just to do our work, just to be taken seriously, just to keep our seat at the table. And then something happens that nobody warns you about. The room changes, the season changes, you change. But the identity you built back then keeps running. You keep performing a version of yourself that you needed years ago, or maybe even just months ago, but long after you needed her. You are still there, but she don't need to be there no more. So an audit is where you stop and check. Is who I am being still who I actually am? Or am I just really practiced at being her? Now, I call this the first relationship of the season, the one with yourself. And I want to be clear why an audit belongs here in this portion of the season. A relationship requires honesty. You cannot be close to someone you are performing for. You cannot be intimate with someone you are managing. And somewhere along the way, a lot of us started managing ourselves, performing for ourselves, being the strong one, the capable one, the one who has it all together, even in the privacy of our own mind. And listen, I understand how we get here. For a lot of us, and I'm going to speak plainly to us as Black women because that's our audience, the performance was protective, right? The performance may have started a long time ago when you were little you, as a little girl, right? Or in that last role, which wasn't a safe environment, but you're not there anymore. And in that space, maybe being unbothered or whatever, fill in the blank, kept you safe. Maybe overfunctioning got you the results that got you respected. Never letting them see you sweat was a survival strategy in environments that did not extend you a whole lot of grace. And I'm not here to shame the strategy. It worked. It was incredibly resilient for you. And I affirm you in coping in that way, adapting in that way. That is part of why you're still here, doing the things you want to do, why you've moved up in leadership or whatever you are. But a survival strategy and a relationship are two different things. You cannot nurture a relationship with yourself while you are still performing for yourself. The audit is how you set the performance down long enough to actually meet the woman underneath it all. So that's the work today. 3 questions. That's the whole audit. And I would encourage you again, if you can, grab something to write with, because these are the kind of questions that want an answer on paper, not just a nod in your head. You can pause me if you want to do this while you're actually listening, or come back to it at another time where you have some time to really reflect and write. So, question 1: what did I build to survive? Question 1: what did I build to survive? This is where the audit starts, because you cannot examine what you cannot see. So the first move is just to name it. And there's a common phrase we use in our work at Nice Consulting: name it to tame it. Okay. To surface the identities you have been carrying, we need to name it. Think back over your career. Think about the rooms that shaped you, the early jobs, the hard managers, the times you were the only one in the room, perhaps, the moments you learned, sometimes painfully, what you had to be in order to be successful, effective, achieving, or just okay in that environment. And ask yourself, who did I become in those rooms? Again, there's no judgment here. This is just a reflection to name it. Maybe you became the one who never drops the ball because early on, dropping the ball cost you something. Maybe you became the one who has an answer for everything because not knowing felt dangerous. Maybe you became the peacekeeper, the one who reads the room and smooths it over because conflict was not safe. Maybe you became the one who does not need anything from anyone because needing felt like exposure or it felt like vulnerability. Now, I'm not assuming that there is a negative tone to something that you needed to build to survive. I'm not assuming that because none of this may resonate with you, and that's fine. Still write down, even if it was you became the one who had good boundaries, you became the one that asked for what you wanted because you knew that the resources were abundant. Whatever the case, whether it was more of a negative construct or a positive construct, no value judgment here. We just want to name it. Okay. We just want to name it. So think back over the career, think back over the roles, think back not only over the job roles, but the life roles. I was talking to someone the other day and they were talking about being the oldest daughter and a lot of caretaking they had to do even as a child for their siblings, supporting their single mom who was working. And she wasn't complaining about it, but she realized that there were some things very early on in her identity about putting others before her, sometimes to her own detriment, around not clarifying boundaries all the time because that just wasn't a thing. And she realized that even now, taking that to her leadership, um, it was something that was showing up now at this big age, right? Beyond being a child. And so when we say, who did I become in those rooms? We're starting from a professional lens, but you might, in your exploration and your reflection, it may take you back even further. And that's okay. We're just naming it. No value judgment. None of what you put down is a character flaw. Every single one of the things that you had to build to survive was intelligent, adaptations, resilient. You built exactly the leader that the moment required. And I want you just to name her, name that out loud on paper, because the identities we cannot name are the ones that run us. The ones we can name, we can finally have a say over or choose intentionally if that identity still needs to be in play. Okay. So that is question one. What did I build to survive? Write down what comes up. Feel free to pause me here if needed. Now, question two, and this is the heart of the audit. What is still true and what is just familiar? I'll say it again. What is still true about that identity, about everything you wrote down in question one? And what is just familiar? Here's a trap. Once we have carried an identity long enough, we stop being able to tell the difference between who we are and what we are used to. The performance gets so smooth, so automatic. I mean, baby, you getting the Academy Award, okay? That it starts to feel like personality. It starts to feel like that's just how I am. But familiar is not the same as true, y'all. So take the identities you named in question one and run each one through this filter. Think about the identity. Maybe you had to be the overperformer, the caretaker, the peacekeeper, some of those things I mentioned before. And what you're asking yourself about whatever you wrote down, is this still serving me? Or is this just serving the person I used to have to be? Is this still required for this space that I'm in order for me to navigate successfully? In order for me to advance in the way that I want to advance? Or have I just gotten really familiar with the practice of being, talking, behaving, thinking in the way of that identity? Okay. Let me give you what this sounds like in practice. So let's say you wrote down the one who never needs help. This is what I want you to take through that filter. Is it still true that you are strongest alone? Is it still true that you don't need nobody else? You don't need no help from nobody else? And that nobody around is capable of giving you the help. Is that still true? Or is that a leftover from a season when asking for that help felt unsafe? And now it's just keeping you isolated and exhausted at a level of leadership that was actually designed to be shared with a team. Or if it's not something at work, it's something emotional with your support network, with your partner, with your family, with your friends. Okay. Maybe you said that you are the one who over functions and over delivers. And let's walk it through the filter of, is it still true? Is that still your excellence? Or is it an old bargain where you learned you had to do twice as much to be seen as half as valuable? Y'all know we've heard that a lot. A lot of Black folks have heard that. People of color have heard that. And now you're running that bargain against your own body, against your own rest, against your own wellness. Is it still true? Is it still required that you have to? We're not saying don't operate in excellence, but that you got to over function in everything. You got to over deliver in everything. Is that still true? Maybe you wrote down I'm the one who stays composed no matter what. And let's run it through the filter. Is it still true? Is that grounded leadership for you? It may be. No judgment there. Or is it armor you have not been able to take off since that first space or that first room or that first role that first required you to not show emotion, to not get upset, to always just be composed no matter what? You feel the difference in your body when you ask it honestly, because a lot of this stuff will come up somatically. Something that is still true feels clean, it feels like yours, and something that is just familiar feels heavy. It feels like a costume you forgot you had on, and the costume party has long been over, right? Pay attention to yourself as you're going through these reflections. What's coming up in your physical body, in your gut, in your head? What are you feeling? Your body will give you a lot of symptoms as well. You're sorting here, okay? You're saying this one still fits. This identity still fits. This one is just familiar. You do not have to do anything with the piles yet. We're just getting ready to do the laundry, okay? We haven't started the laundry. You are just telling yourself the truth about which is which, and that by itself is a profound act of this self relationship, of this loving relationship with yourself. And then our final question 3. What am I ready to release and who am I without it? I'll say that again. Question 3. What am I ready to release and who am I without it? Now, I want to be careful here because release is a word people throw around like it's easy. It is not easy. Some of these identities saved your life at one point. Setting them down can feel like a betrayal, even to yourself. It could feel even like danger when you know in your body that they once kept you safe. So I'm not telling you to release everything you named as familiar today. An audit does not obligate you to throw anything out. It just gives you the choice back. It just gives you the clarity and the clear picture so you can choose. You can have agency around how you want to move forward. And that's the whole gift of it. You get to choose on purpose as the woman you are now instead of an autopilot as the woman you had to be at a certain point. But if you're ready to release some things, there's a second half to this question, and it's the tender one, right? It's the sensitive one. Who am I without it if I release it? Because a lot of this has been embedded in our identity because that's actually what keeps us performing an outdated identity long after it stops serving us. Not that we love it, not that we must and we cannot continue without it, is that we do not know who we are without it. And if we go way, way, way back, I believe this was in season 2, I'll hyperlink it in the show notes. I did an episode on separating identity from achievement. And this is what this is talking about, that we have become so used to doing a thing, to being a thing that is who we are instead of something that we do. And we forget that we have some choice. Uh, maybe some old rules we were functioning under that are no longer serving us. And guess what? We don't got to do that no more. We don't have to do that no more, y'all. So if I'm not the strong one who never needs anything, then who am I? This is something we have to grapple with. If I'm not the one who over delivers, will I still be valued? If I put the armor down, will I be safe? These are the questions we have to sit with. That's why I say everything that came up in this audit as just familiar may not be something for your own safety that you want to put down right away, but you gain awareness about it. You're not on autopilot around it. So those questions are real, and I'm not going to pretend they are not, but I want to offer you this. On the other side of a released identity that no longer serves you is not emptiness, it is space. It is space for you to do the behavior, say the words, uh, embody the identity that is resonant with the woman and the leader you are right now. Okay. So it's space. It's space to be led by who you actually are instead of who you had to become at that time. It's space for rest that you do not have to earn. It's space for support you do not have to justify. It's space for just saying no because you want to say no and it's your time and your resources and you can. It's space for a version of your leadership that is not running on a decades old survival contract. You do not release an identity to become less. You release it to have more room to become more fully yourself. So let me pull this together. 3 questions. What did I build to survive? What is still true and what is just familiar? And what am I ready to release and who am I without it? That is the audit. And notice what it is not. It is not a plan. It is not a set of goals. It is not a vision for 5 years from now. It is something quieter and honestly more courageous. It is you telling yourself the truth about who you are being right now. And that is why this is the first relationship of the season, honey. You, the relationship with you. Everything we build from here with our teams, our community, our people, all of it depends on the honesty you are willing to have with yourself. You cannot cultivate real relationships from behind a performance. The people around you can only get as close to you as you have gotten to yourself. The leader who has done this audit leads differently, not louder, not more polished, but more honest. She's not managing an image. She is not defending an identity. She's just being who she actually is, which it turns out is the most magnetic, sustainable, authentic thing a leader can be. And I want to close with this. The woman you had to become to survive got you here. Let me say that clearly because that deserves honor. That's resilient. She was brilliant. She was strong when strong was the only option on the table. She protected you. You would not be leading at the level you are leading today without her. And you are allowed to thank her and still decide that you do not have to be her anymore if it is no longer needed for this season. And that is what an audit makes possible. Not throwing away who you were, honoring her, and then choosing on purpose who you are now. So this week, sit with the 3 questions. What did I build to survive? What is still true and what is just familiar? And what am I ready to release and who am I without it? Don't rush it. This may not be a one sitting kind of reflection for you. This may be a touch it, give some rest, give some break, and then come back and reflect on it. You may take it to your prayer closet, honey. You might take it to your therapist, okay? You might take it to your trusted friend. That's okay. This is a relationship. So there's time, quality time that we can spend with ourselves, and you are worth the time that it takes, okay? I hope this was helpful for you. If this episode met you somewhere real, make sure you share this with a leader in your life who needs permission to do the same exercise. We are on all podcast streaming platforms. You can also catch us on the Black Woman Leading YouTube channel, and you can listen from our website, blackwomanleading.com. You can also learn about all of our programs, events on our website, blackwomanleading.com. And if you want to connect with us on socials, at Black Woman Leading, woman is singular. We're on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. If you'd like to connect with me personally, I'm at Laura E. Knights. You can find me most on LinkedIn and Instagram. And then finally, if you'd like to learn about the work we do inside of organizations to help them build stronger leaders and teams, check out our corporate site at knightsconsultingroup.com. We love to connect with you in any of these ways. And until next time, be well. Keep on